All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you all can hear me. This is my first time. Okay. I see it moving. Thank God. This is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube. So thank you for those who are joining us, etc. And this is my first time. So please forgive me if you can't hear me or see me or whatever. We're trying this out. Worst case scenario, we'll delete it. But this is Shanika from Shackles Off TV on YouTube. I didn't get all dolled up or anything like that. It's almost time for me to go to bed, actually. But I wanted to come on here and talk about I shop online. I've been shopping online probably since the 90s, actually, since it became popular, before it was popular. If anybody uh has been shopping online like me for a while. I was shopping I graduated college in 1998 from Georgia Southern University. And I want to say we had the old dial-up internet where you had to connect to everybody, who's older than 20. A lot of people that's, I guess they don't know much about dial-up, yes. So most people in Gen Z don't know anything about dial-up, but if you were in America in the late 90s, you know about dial-up, and you pretty much had to have a big computer and have a phone line, and through the Ethernet cord, you would connect to the internet. And so I'm saying that because I've been shopping online since before it was popular, before Amazon got really big. I used to use a company called Webvan, and I was so innovative. Now they call it DoorDash, or what's the other company, that Instacart, but they actually had that service almost 20 years ago. So I'm saying that because it's been very convenient for me, because I have a very busy lifestyle, to pretty much shop online. And what I've noticed, especially with social media being as popular as it is now, and everything being as connected as it is now, that anything that, if you're an entrepreneur like myself, let's say you're trying to sell a t-shirt, we can go on all these sites and upload a t-shirt. We can design this and design that. And there have been people, especially during the pandemic, that made a lot of money selling t-shirts. But a lot of the t-shirts, people may not be original, or if they are original, they won't be original for long, because you can always have a copycat come back and sell what you're doing. And I was looking online, and I was looking on Shein today. Shein, Shein. And I was noticing a lot of the popular shirts that a lot of people were buying, because they have really good metrics and data analytics. Most of those were so much cheaper than somebody who is a small entrepreneur could be able to sell them for and make a decent profit, make it worth their time. For example, there's a lot of Christian based things, and Black people based things, and all kinds of different based things that target different niches, that are like $5, $7, $3. It's like, well, if you know anything about buying things, it costs way more than that, because your price is not just the cost of materials, it's also the utilities that's put into the materials and the time that you want to pay yourself. So it's crazy. And I don't know if this, you can screen share. There's a pop-out dashboard, so let me see. And I don't know if y'all can see my screen or not. I'm not sure. Nobody's watching right now, but I would like to do a screencast so you can see what I'm saying. But I will just continue to talk, and I don't know if I'm able to screen share. I do have to do a little bit more research, but I did want to talk about a few things here on this channel. So I'm not sure if you can see my screen. I don't know. I don't think you can, and I will do some more research to figure out how you would. But let's just talk about really quick, why I feel like, why I titled this video what I titled this video. The title of this video is China's Seemingly Unbeatable Monopoly. And if you are an entrepreneur, I think you understand a little bit more than other people. Or if you have worked for a large corporation like myself, I worked for Verizon Wireless and AT&T at points of my life. Worked at Verizon mostly from 1999 to 2007. And mind you, 2007 was a year when iPhone killed the BlackBerry. If you go back and watch that movie, it's an excellent movie. I'm going to probably do a movie review on that. But going back to 2007, and most of our kids that my students that are in 10th grade, most of them were born in 2007, between 2007 and 2009. And they don't know the world before the iPhone. Kids these days, they love the iPhone, all of it. But people don't realize the iPhone is manufactured all over the world. They're sourcing products from every piece, and then they take it to one factory and put it together. But countries like China have a dominance on a lot of those things that are in the phone. But we're going to talk about that. And I want to kind of talk about 10 things in this video. One is China's monopoly, the global marketplace dominance, price control challenges, Chinese manufacturing power, economic influence, supply chain control, market competition, international trade dynamics, consumer impact, and monopolistic practices. And I'm using, I use ChatGPT. I use AI to help me to think and do things quicker. So that is a little list I have. I don't know if you saw that. But I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on it. This is not going to be hours and hours long because, again, I do have other things to do. I need to go to sleep. I got to go to work tomorrow. But I did want to talk about, what does all this mean? So I'm sure if you're like me, we're in the holiday season in America, and some of us participate in Black Friday. Now, I did not participate in Black Friday this year per se because I was on vacation in Hawaii, and you may have saw some of the videos that I had posted in regard to that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't want to, because number one, I actually make shirts and mugs and personalized gifts and things. My husband and I do that. So I didn't really, I'm going to make everybody's gift. Everybody who knows me knows I'm going to make their gift. So I didn't really need to buy anything because I already had bought supplies from, the companies that I buy supplies from to make the stuff. And I'm going to show you some of those videos in future videos of us actually making things. But I I do read a lot. I am on all social media channels, not all of them, but I'm on Instagram, Shackles off on Instagram, S Bridges Matthew on Facebook, Shackles off on Twitter, Shackles off 04 on TikTok. I'm sure I'm missing. I know I'm on Pinterest. I think I'm Nika Matthew on Pinterest or Shackles off. I'm not sure. But the whole point is I'm on these channels because I have been an entrepreneur longer than I've been a teacher. I am a certified teacher, certified in actually 12 subjects, but I teach engineering and technology. And so I'm really passionate about understanding technology and understanding how the role that it plays in business because I came from the business world. So I have a love for both things. I'm also a certified business educator as well. So that is, the lens that I'm speaking from, and also trying to educate people who want to know more. Okay. Well, if we look at, what's going on in the world, okay, if you understand, like I was telling my students today, when we talk about engineering and there's so many different facets of it, right? So software is a big one, right? Software and hardware and electronics are big. And why? Because everybody uses them. Internet of Things. If everything is connected, if you notice in your household, you have more things connected in your house than you do have people. And they're all connected to the Wi-Fi. They're hardwired to that's wired somewhere in your house, that Wi-Fi, right? There's circuit boards all throughout this computer I'm using right now, my cell phone, my iPad, the smart TV. Okay. Really smart people programmed the world, you might as well say, because it's more devices right now than there are people, right? Let's prove that. Let's look it up. So we could go to Google and we can ask how many devices or are there more devices connected to the internet than there are people? Let's just see what it says. And are there more devices connected to the internet than people in the world? Question. Let me see what did, and mind you, Google has AI built into it. And Google says, yes, there are more devices connected to the internet than there are people in the world. In 2020, there were over 21 billion devices connected to the internet, while the global population was around 7.8 billion. Okay. And this is what we call Internet of Things. So we have way more people than we do. Now, mind you, there are close to 8 billion people in the world, but how many people have access to the internet? How many people in the world have access to the internet? And Google knew exactly what I was asking because it came up first. So right now, there are 5.3 billion people who have access to the internet, which is 65.7% of the world's population. That includes 4.95 billion people who use social media, which is 61% of the world's population. So what does that tell us? There's still opportunity for growth, right? Our minds are being colonized. That's why I call this channel Shackles Off TV, right? Shackles is not, we're not shackled like this anymore. Some people are in the world, they are, but the shackles are here because the greatest asset that you have is attention. And over the last, since the 80s, there has been a fast pace. There's a lot of different documentaries about China and how they innovate and they invent and they just go quick. They go fast. It's not a lot of bureaucracy in regard to business and how they move fast. They move faster than we do in the United States. That's why they don't mind paying to learn how to speak English because they knew that was knowing English was going to help them to dominate, right? And I'm not a hater of China, okay? So don't look at me. I don't hate any country because number one, I don't fully trust any media. Even in the United States, a lot of stuff is filtered based off of advertisers, right? So I can't tell you that our media is telling us the right thing. We know that a lot of stuff we learned in school is untrue, especially when it comes to history. So I'm not going to be over here and say China is bad because it's not. We've got a lot of good things from China and there's a lot of smart people there. But the truth is, when you go on the internet, if you're buying anything on the internet, it does not seem like you can compete with China. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I buy things on the internet. These clothes that I have on right now, I have on this nice, and it wasn't expensive. I know I didn't spend more than, it's a pantsuit. I didn't spend more than $50 on this. And I know I either bought it on Shein, X Plus, Rosewee. Probably, I know it was Amazon, but it's one of those between those three. Do I shop at local mom and pops? Yes. But it's majority of my clothes in my closet, and I have multiple closets. It comes from China. I'm sure. Why? Because we want to feel like we're rich too. People, I'm straight up middle class. I am not high class. I'm not, rich. I'm not wealthy. I just know how to try to make $1 out of 15 cents. Okay. So, and I think a lot of people are like that. A lot of people want to feel like they have access to things. We want to look good, want to feel good. And so that is, and they know that. So if you understand psychology, you understand how Monopoly works. Everybody is somewhat greedy, right? If you ever played the game Monopoly, it's whoever has the most stuff, who has the most real estate, has the most property. And so when we talk about a monopoly, it's not just real estate, it's your real estate, like again, is here right now. This is one of the most valuable things because once we get inside of here, we know what you want to buy. Why do you think Jeff Bezos created Amazon? Not just to sell books. People don't even think about books much when they think about Amazon now. They think about everything else. Okay. He wanted to be if you ever watch that documentary, I highly recommend you watch Jeff Bezos, if you look at the logo, it's everything from A to Z. It's an arrow from A to Z. If you look at the logo, that tells you the story. He wants to sell everything from A to Z. Who does it? And we're being told to niche down and all that, but no, Amazon is dominating. And Jeff Bezos, if you know anything about him, he's trying to colonize space. You think he's only working with people in America to do so? So when I talk about the monopoly, we're talking about global dominance. After, and this is according to Chat GPT, so I'm gonna give it, not Chat GPT, this is on Google, but it says after stagnating under Mao Zedong in the 1960s and 70s, so they were stagnant, okay, because they were under this harsh dictatorship. China opened to the world in 1980s and took off in subsequent decades. Its share of the global economy rose nearly 10-fold. Now, I don't know if America has had that type of exponential growth. From below 2% in 1990 to 18.4% in 2021. And that's just a 2021 stat, that came up. That's the first thing. I didn't go deep. But look that up, okay? So I won't spend too long. Price control. Y'all, again, like I was saying, go on Shein. I don't know if you can see my screen, but just go into SHEIN, Temu, TMU. Look at those prices. Matter of fact, you have better prices there than you do at the dollar store sometimes. The dollar store is not even dollar store anymore. I was just talking to my friends on Marco Polo. We were talking about the fact that the dollar store is not the dollar store anymore. It's selling things for $1.25, for $5, for $10. Why? Well, America is experiencing crazy inflation. And you might say, well, back in the 80s or the late 70s, mortgage rates are 15, 16%. I get it. And we got to go back and look in history as to why that was happening as well. But y'all, the world is about patterns, okay? That's how AI understands the world. It just looks at what people putting in and looks at patterns and it makes sense. And that's how we think. And that's how we process information, okay? So like I said, since the 80s, China has been coming up. And if you go back and research Bill Clinton with the free trade agreement, we gave a lot of our manufacturing away. Also, y'all, I'm gonna tell you the truth. As a teacher, okay, and I grew up as far as I was a teenager in the 90s. Okay, I graduated high school in 1994, and I'm gonna tell you, they were strongly pushing us to going to a 4-year school. It was strongly pushed. Now I can't talk for this what was going on in the 80s, the 70s, but it was kind of like if you did not go to a 4-year school, even if you know what you was doing, you're just gonna be poor, polo, and ain't got no more. That's what they say in the South. And it was, it was kind of like a fear campaign. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay, I gotta go. And you don't even at 17 years old, you don't really know what you want to do. You don't. A lot of times you don't know what you want to do until you do it. Okay. But it was like you were forced into it, right? And not to say, I've had my best friends come from college. My children's father, my ex-husband, came from me going to college. So for me to say, oh, it was all bad, it wasn't. I had some great network and have some wonderful friends and connections from going to college. And I have 4 degrees, right? You see some of them right here. That's my graduation picture from when I graduated from high school. I'm not going to zoom in, but it is. And I take pride in that. And I was smart enough to go to college, and I did have a scholarship. But what I'm trying to tell you is, a lot of us we didn't know anything about credit. We knew nothing about finances, anything. So going at that young, not really knowing what you want to do, not really having time to really deeply dive into that field that you're looking into, knowing what's the right thing, a lot of us got messed up. We did. And I'm saying that because it was pushed. Okay. A lot of us don't know how to sow. We don't know how to tend to the land and grow food. We don't know how to build things. We didn't take those shop classes and this class and that class because we're trying to take AP this and AP that because that's what colleges want. So the focus shifted from people building skills, and now you have to pay your plumber astronomical sums of money. Now you have to pay the carpenter, somebody come fix something because we don't really want to do nothing. Thank God for YouTube, where people are coming in showing, right? And so now we're moving back into a maker space. But as a whole, as a country, we don't really know how to do nothing. We don't know how these clothes are made. We don't know how the phone works. We don't know a lot. Okay. So that us moving from being skilled, highly skilled, to just only focusing on jobs we can do on a computer, in a way it's hurt us because now what's happening? AI is taking over. I literally use AI to help me prepare for this video because it's I got to do things quicker, right? Price control. Again, like I said, y'all, we don't run nothing when it comes to manufacturing, and we don't have as many natural resources as China does, or they access to it, or quick access to it. China is the largest manufacturing economy and exporter of goods, the world's largest. China's manufacturing sector is one of the largest in the world, accounting for 28.7% of the world's manufacturing output in 2019. That was in 2019. That's pre-COVID. Okay. That's before, a lot of people went online doing stuff. They had to, they were forced to. Now a lot of more people are buying stuff online. I watched a video the other day on YouTube or somewhere, I think it was TikTok, and where a guy was saying he went into the store and nobody was there on Black Friday. It wasn't. And then I remember seeing posts of people saying, oh, we need to, I miss the days where people used to be fighting in line to get to something, and of course it was sarcasm, but look how the world has changed. Okay. Their economy is growing. If you look, they build cities in China. They build cities. They call them ghost cities. They build cities in hopes that they know people are going to go, and they're beautiful. And sometimes nobody comes. That is so. I'm telling you, it's so much stuff, and we're in the information age, but we're getting dumber. Told my students, don't let the smartphone be smarter than you, because that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Lord. All right. We talked about manufacturing, economic influence. Y'all, I have had, and I work with different engineers. I talk to people in the industry, talk to people about patents, all kind of stuff. Do you realize, especially some of these sites where people do the crowdfunding, once you put something out there on the internet, if you don't have international patents or copyrights or trademarks internationally, just because you have a trademark in the United States, it don't mean nothing. Somebody can go and build that same thing, and you don't have any time in China, and you have no recourse. Okay, so you could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell this online because I can sell it to way more people. Even if you sell it for $1, if 1 million people buy, you are a millionaire, right? But once the algorithm catches up with you, oh, this went viral, it's gonna be a whole bunch of copycats. And where do you think they're gonna be first? We're outnumbered, y'all. We're outnumbered. It's only what? How many people live in the United States? Let's see. How many people live in the U.S.? 300, according in the U.S. 2023. According to Google, they say 334,233,854 people. It's not much of an increase, but how many people live in China 2023? Let's see. $1.4 billion people, which is a decline of 0.02%. So you mean to tell me we're outnumbered over 4-1. The ratio is 4 of them from 1 of us. They can literally come over here and take over. And who's to stop them? We're bringing in people from China. And like I said, I have nothing against people from China at all because they're, smart people, very disciplined, right? But I'm saying literally they can take over the United States. They can, their top 25% can come over here and just shut everything down. Let's just be 100% clear. And now we're not even talking about India. We're not talking about Africa, countries in Africa. We're not Nigeria. Okay. We're not talking about Brazil. We're not talking about none of that. We're just talking about China because they have monopoly. They seem to have a monopoly. Okay. Again, the world's largest manufacturing. That's where we produce goods. Remember, everything is connected to the Internet of Things, right? China is one of the world's largest and most powerful economies, according to Google. It has a large influence on the global economy through trade, investment, ideas, manufacturing, consumption, commodities, high tech. What else is there left? We know how to TikTok and we know how to dance. We know how to sing. We know how to shuck and jive. Let's be clear. They have a great economic influence. Okay? Let's just be 100% clear. So when we're trying to say, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to quit my job and this, y'all, the people who really have the leg up are the people that are debt-free in the United States and the kids that are about to graduate that don't have any debt. I'm not in that category. I can't sit there in front and lie and act like I'm, everybody on the internet, millionaires. That's not me. Okay. I'm telling you 100%, that's not me. That's not me. Okay. If you are coming out of high school, you're in Generation Z, or you're coming out of college, you don't have any debt, you are way better off in America, even if you don't own anything right now. Because just because you don't like your parents and them telling you what to do, when to come in, your best bet is to sit still and work while you're in college or not. You don't have nothing but time on your hands. You don't have any kids to raise, any mouths to feed, nothing but you. You only have to worry about you. Sit still and grow your money. Learn how to invest. Learn how to have multiple streams of income. That's my advice. You don't have to take it. But shackles off. Because they control everything. Supply chain. Okay. Remember what happened with COVID? How companies in the US couldn't produce products. We had cars that were manufactured, but they couldn't put the chips in them. So all the used cars went up. The prices went up. Anybody ever been to Cuba? That's why they use those old cars. Okay. Market competition. Again, how can you beat the computer at the game? The computer has all kind of mathematical models programmed in it. The computer is training itself because of machine learning. It knows how to think better than we know how to think, because we've been worried about what Cardi B is doing, what little baby this that is doing, what Trump is doing. We've been worried about all those things, and what gender is this, and what's 5,000 gender. We've been worried about all these things, and not well, if I don't get this medicine, I'm not gonna live. Where does this medicine come from? How's this phone made? How's this car made? How do we fix this car? Because I don't know if you understand this or not, but literally, some prices in the United States have doubled in the last 3 years. Inflation. Okay. So, y'all, everything's about politics. We got to really be conscious of who and what we vote for. We got to go deeper and look deeper into how the economy works, because there's an election year coming up. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not red or I'm not blue at all. I like both colors. Okay. But we really have to think. Okay. So how does that impact us? Y'all, You get a 3% raise, you get a 6% raise. If insurance is going up by 10 to 15% a year, if and that not just your car, your homeowners, the homeowner association fees, food, rent is going up, utilities. It's not going up a little 3%. Go check your bills. That's what everybody's been complaining about, especially food. What are we gonna do? Okay, because if you only get 3% raise and inflation is at 8%, they claim it's not 10%. Who knows? I'm just putting it out there, but I know what's going up in my household. Because Jay-Z said numbers don't lie, people do. That's not necessarily true. There's a book on Amazon called How to Lie with Statistics. Bill Gates loves that book. He posted it as one of his favorite books. So it's all how you frame stuff. When the government is giving us statistics about, inflation is only this, whatever, lies. You know better. Okay. Y'all, if you can control that, the cost of living in China is not as high, look it up, as is America. Okay. The reason why we have to price products the way we do, people are like, oh, it's too expensive. I sell a t-shirt for $20 and they can go on Shein and get one for $5 or $6. Well, I can't compete with that. I'm sorry. My mortgage is higher than that. I got to, factor that in. My time is more valuable than that. Oh, the trip is too high. I can't control the prices of transportation. Airlines don't pay me no commission on flights. I'm sorry. I pay just as much as you do for Delta Sky, Delta miles, right? If you go and try to figure out how Delta is high, I fly Delta, but they high as hell. Let's be 100% clear. The more things go up, y'all research what happened in Zimbabwe. I want to say it was Argentina. If you just go to Google and you search inflation, I think it's Argentina. In September of 2023, Argentina's inflation rate was 138% annually. In October, it increased to 142.7%. The government expects the country to have an annual inflation rate inflation rate of 135.7%. Y'all go. There's plenty of YouTube videos about that. That's just Argentina. That ain't even a whole bunch of black folks. Let's look at what's going on in Zimbabwe. Inflation, Zimbabwe. There's documentaries about this stuff. We're in the information age, y'all. Now it's gone down in Zimbabwe, but it was real bad at one point. Okay. Literally, there's some articles saying it hits 175%. There was literally a documentary that I watched about people were going to the grocery store and they saw the prices going up as they were in the store. Like, it was literally just moving. Y'all, there's no company that's going to pay you, give you I don't know. There's outliers. Okay. But we're talking about status quo. There's no company that's going to pay you that much in a raise. They will go out of business. Let's be clear. Economics 101. They rather hire robots than have to worry about you. Be clear. I said what I had to say. I want you to think about it. Right now, nobody's on my live. It's fine. I'm still growing my channel. I had left my channel dormant for years, so I'm trying to get it back. But at the same time, I can't help but to teach. That's in my blood. It runs through my blood. I have to put this out there. And it's no slight against China. They're good at business, better than us, I think, because they do seem to have a beatable monopoly. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great day and take the shackles off your mind and learn something new.